So some of the things that are great at a radio club is you can ask a member, hey, I'm looking to get a brand new radio. What have you played with? Right? And they will run off for about 10 to 20 minutes on all of the radios they've tried and what ones they like, they don't like. Each month we have a general get-together where we try to have sort of a learning lecture. We'll get somebody in. For example, the upcoming meeting, we're going to have somebody who does balloons and how that ties into ham radio. Balloons like high atmospheres, kind of space traveling balloons. He's been doing some really cool stuff with ham radio, so we're going to learn from him. Other than that, it's just a general club, so we try to do stuff in the community where we can assist communications. We do a field day where we just all get together for a weekend. We grab a bunch of food based on the club memberships and just hang out and play with radio for a weekend. So that's a lot of fun. You guys automatically become members from joining the course. Each year, it's around $40 for membership. It was $50 for the course, and you get membership tossed in. So hopefully you kind of keep that up. Come on out. If you don't like it, you don't have to join the club. Like after this year, we give you the free membership just to kind of convince you and pull you out a little bit, but it's totally your call. So the next thing, what is Industry Canada? You've probably heard IC or Industry Canada being tossed around. I think they've renamed themselves now. They've become, no, that way? Okay. So Industry Canada is the governing body, at least that used to be their name, the governing body that is in charge of radio in Canada. So they'll be the ones that issue you your license. They're the ones whose test you have to pass in order to get your license. Other than that, they do a lot more with the major telcos in Canada, Bell, Rogers, TELUS, in licensing their radio wave access, but they actually manage the entire spectrum across Canada. So that's their primary focus. They still work with the ham radio community, but as the ham radio community is kind of a smaller subsect, we only get a small amount of their attention compared to some of the other things they deal with. So that's who they are. And finally, what is a basic license? Okay, so basic versus the advanced license in Canada, we have two different license classes. We have the basic, which is what this course is going to gear you for, and an advanced, which Tom is gearing up for, and some of our members actually have. The main difference, as I would put it kind of in layman's terms, a basic license is more of an appliance operator's license, kind of what you would get into if you wanted to, for example, use a computer and there was a license. Its main goal is to teach you how to be safe and responsible with it and not break the law. Those are kind of the three benchmarks of what makes the basic license. The advanced license expands on the basic license in pretty much every way. So we're going to be learning very minimal electronics, kind of how to build simple circuits with a battery in them. The advanced license is going to go into a lot more technical detail. The main difference there is the advanced license allows you to more power, which of course brings more safety and responsibility, but it also allows you to build your own radio, which you can't do with the basic license. And so a lot of the advanced stuff is going to test you on your ability to actually build a radio, make it function, and know how everything works in it. So those are the two classes. You can theoretically get your basic and your advanced back to back. A lot of hams say don't wait, get on the air, actually practice with your basic license before you go get your advanced. There's two totally different schools of thought, but we're only gearing up for the basic here. Okay, internet connectivity. Excellent. Everybody have internet connectivity who wanted it? Does anybody still need passwords or anything? Perfect, we can move right on. So the things you're going to need to survive the course. The first off is the textbook. We'll get around to that when we get around to the break. The textbook, thanks to a course discount we got through the club, is $40. The course is $50 for a total of $90 for the whole thing. You can technically go out buy your own amateur radio basic qualification study guide on your own. We're not going to stop you if you want to go do that, but the sticker price either from coax or from any distributor is going to be $45.95. That's just the price that the actual publisher sets. So we were lucky enough to get a discount for a bulk order. You're going to need a calculator, a pencil, and paper. Okay, so pencil and paper are great because you can doodle in it. It's always on technology. You can go in any direction. It's going to be better than a laptop typically will. For a calculator, you're going to want one that does squares, so the ability to take something to a power, and logarithms. Don't worry, we will get into those. I had a question already actually on logarithms. It's not too much of a worry, but you probably want a calculator that does that. You don't have to use a logarithm table. It's going to be no fun. So, laptop, of course, and tablet, completely optional. So now I bring up this kind of idea of discomfort zone. It's kind of a fun way to visualize what we're doing here. So everybody has their comfort zone. You've built up over your career, your life, kind of this area that you really like playing in. For me, it's definitely computers, right? For you, it may be horses, it may be elevators. You've got kind of this area that, you know, if somebody asks you a question about it, you've got the answer, right? When you're playing around, you're doing something, you can work pretty well. This course is going to push you a lot into something called the discomfort zone, all right? This is going to be where things start getting tough, right? Where you're going to start meeting opposition. You know, we're going to be introducing mathematical equations, and maybe your discomfort zone is anything mathematical, all right? My job, and Bob's job, and Jeffrey's job is to kind of guide you through the process, right? To make sure that when you hit the discomfort zone, you can keep going, all right? And the longer you can stay in the discomfort zone, the more you learn, right? This is where learning happens. Inside here, you don't need to learn anything, you already know it. So don't worry when we start to get to those tough zones. That's just you hitting the discomfort wall. And so long as we can get you through that, you can learn the material, we'll have a great time. So, all right, before we move on, are there any questions, comments, queries? No? Okay. So, is everybody enjoying the course so far? It's been a lot of information. So,
Will you be talking about the online?
I will be talking about the online stuff now. Yeah. So the objectives and dates. Pretty straightforward. It's gonna make me come out of that, of course. Okay, so if everybody goes, you don't have to go now, but when you go home tonight, or on your laptop or phone, whatever, you're gonna go to the website. This is gonna be primarily the way I get you guys information. I'm working really hard to make sure everything is available on here whenever you need it. So we have every video we've ever recorded here on here, every presentation we've given, and everything I've kind of found relevant, on topic, or useful in any particular way. Once you log in, you're going to get access to the full course. That's everything down the left-hand side here. And what we're going to do for this particular section, we're just kind of going to go through the overview. I've already provided this as a printout for the syllabus, but this section is really long, and I'm not going to print out, I think it was 7 or 8 pages for all of this information. Being digital, one of the great things is you can get it anywhere you have internet connectivity, and I don't have to waste thousands and thousands of ink cartridges that cost an arm and a leg these days. So, for the overview, that's already on the syllabus, same with the course information. One keynote I will draw your attention to is right there, and how to get a hold of me. That'll be the email address you'd probably want to send any information to, or questions or anything, would be contact@nycroft.com. That'll go directly to me. So, course objectives. This time we've come up with kind of what exactly it is we're trying to get out of the course, as opposed to just exam prep. So, some of the basic stuff. Technically for homework, some of you may not have heard, but you were supposed to study the phonetic alphabet. So that is one thing that you're going to be able to do, is send and receive using the phonetic alphabet. You're going to know how to identify different cue codes in the amateur radio hobby. Another thing we're going to be covering tonight is how to safely handle electronics and any sorts of things in the ham radio you might come across that are kind of dangerous for both your and the electronic safety. So we'll be going over like electronic discharge and stuff like that. You'll know how to apply Ohm and Watt law to calculate power, voltage, resistance. And as you go through there, each of these will kind of get the different subtopics we're going to be doing by week. Speaking by week, every single topic we're going to be covering has already been laid out. So if you want to know, what did you miss last week? What are we doing next week? What's the plan for tonight? Are we staying on topic? Are we falling behind? You can always refer to the course dates. So tonight you can already see that we've done the icebreakers, textbooks, and syllabus review. We're going to be having a hands-on demo of radios and antenna tonight. So Bob has kindly donated a bunch of radio, well, not donated, I guess, brought a bunch of radios. Thank you. Yeah.
I got some you could have.
I'll take the shiny one.
Yeah. So I unfortunately forgot my radios, so they're currently being brought. But they will be here, and we'll be able to, the point is tonight to be able to plug in and disconnect antennas so you can see how the power works, how amplifiers work with the radio, and generally how you would play around within a radio once you get it. So, and then after that, we're actually going to jump on the radio tonight. You can legally do that. If you're with an amateur radio operator, you can use the radio. So we will be getting you guys on to actually make your first contact tonight with each other. So, there's also homework readings and assignments each week. So for this week, we've got 3 chapters you have to read through, plus 2 subsections. It looks like a lot, don't worry. Chapter 1 is technically a lie. It just kind of introduces you to the idea that there is radio, and that it exists, and thank you for buying the textbook, and the general intros you get in most books. Chapter 2 and 3 are pretty important, so you're going to have to read through those. And then chapters 12.1 and 12.2. 12.1 is just the phonetic alphabet again. That is, if anybody here isn't fully up to speed on it, that's how you practice it. And chapter 12.2 will be the cue codes. So it's not actually as big as it looks, even though there are 5 bullet points there. As we continue through, you will notice there are bolded progress tests. About every 2 weeks after this week, we're going to be doing a progress test. It'll be about, I'd say 30 or 40 questions that'll be coming off the exam to test anything that we've previously covered in any of the weeks. So, for example, the first progress test will test you on anything from the phonetic alphabet and anything from this week here, which will be basic electronics. So just be on the lookout for those. Typically, each of the readings will be about 1 or 2 chapters. Some weeks get more. Some weeks, as you can see here, just chapter 4, that'll be less. I try to keep the actual amount that's covered each week the same. So if you see something like just chapter 4, I'm pretty sure in the textbook chapter 4 is a very thick, dense chapter, all right? So when you see something like that, don't think, oh, we're getting off easy this week, we only have 1 chapter. It's gonna take you a little bit longer, so. There will also be assigned extra viewings at the end of each night. You'll kind of know inductively what to get, but we'll also be doing that at the end of the slideshow. And that'll just take you through each of these side units. So as a quick example, if we go over here to the SI units and metric, under each of the course sections, there'll be a small blurb typically, right? Followed by a video. So I've gone through YouTube and I found probably on the order of 100 videos so far that are extremely relevant and extremely detailed on each of the topics. Don't think you have to watch every single video, but I definitely recommend watching at least 50% of them. We're actually going to be covering some of the videos in the course, ones that I find extremely relevant. But there's lots of things, for example, this video here is a nice one by Matt Parker, where he goes through the imperial system and how illogical it is. So he explains that, an inch is 4 barley corns, and if you want a foot, that's 12 inches, and it's really great fun to watch. Sometimes I haven't found a video that's pretty decent. So for example, if we go to the metric system, I haven't found a video that isn't designed for grade school children that, all right, so we take 1 meter and then we have 10 decimeter. Now, we're all adults, so I wrote up a nice little table that you can use to practice that sort of stuff if you're out of tune with it. But that's basically the way it's going to work for the course. I highly recommend everybody get an account, go through, look at stuff. Don't go too far down the list or you're going to start getting yourself lost, especially if you haven't covered the topic or you haven't read it. But definitely start doing that. Yes?
Do you have to send a link to get on there?
No, I do not. So if you go at the bottom of the syllabus is a link. If you drop that into your browser, it will take you to the first page. You will have to sign up for an account. Unfortunately, the Eliademy website just...
Is that?
That is that link, yeah.
Right there.
So,
Okay.
And hopefully you can see that it's 1MLNA, capital X, capital A. So I tried to pick a font that didn't make the L's and zeros and everything look the same. So, alrighty. So that's that. Let's jump back into the slides. Start from current slide. There we go. So that's the objectives and dates. Alrighty. So what time is it right now? 7. Okay. Alright. So I will see about getting the first video up and running. I don't know how the sound is going to work and if everybody can hear it. So we'll have to see. But we will get into the first video here. So this video series, not the first few one. Again, we won't be going through every video in class, so I definitely recommend going home and watching any of the videos that we didn't cover on your own time. This video series is actually out of the ARRL course. One of the hams in the States has put this together. They have a really, really nice section on safety. The textbook we have, it's got some safety, but I find they go into far more detail than you ever would anywhere else. So he's put together a series of 3 videos. It'll take about 30 minutes to go through all of them. We'll do one now. We'll take a coffee break, we'll go do the radio stuff, and then we'll come back and watch the other 2. But they'll cover each of the 3 areas that you're going to want in ham radio and just get you up to speed on that sort of stuff. So without further ado, well, they want to grab the lights.
Hi, I'm Dave Kassler, KE0OG, your guide to the ARRL General Class License Manual for Ham Radio. This is your video introduction
Sorry,
to
that's
section
not
8.1. Our topic for today is electrical safety. Safety is discussed
Turn it up a bit.
Turn it
in the
up.
final chapter of technical material.
Oops, sorry.
Frankly, it should be discussed first.
Do you have a speaker? Yeah. Whoa. Do not look into a projector. So. So we'll see what Glenn can come up with for a speaker. So yeah, I guess fill some time here. What is everybody? I mean, we went through exactly what everybody's trying to get out of the ham radio hobby. A lot of people it's just an extra hobby after retirement. I don't know. Just trying to ad-lib here and fill some time.
Pull out your ad-lib sheet.
Which one?
Pull out your ad-lib sheet.
Ad-lib sheet? Yeah. Look! No.
Well, as somebody that took the course, I can say it's very good.